Dear brothers and sisters, today I want to say a few words about war. There are different types of war, and there is a lot of war going on in this world now, and maybe it's going to be worse. People are talking about World War III, nuclear war, and many other things. We also know about information wars, economic wars, all kinds of wars. But for a Christian, the most important war, of course, is the spiritual warfare, the spiritual struggle. And this spiritual struggle can also express itself in this physical world. Okay. For us, it's the most important war that can be. And actually, it's the one that we cannot avoid. We must not avoid. We cannot keep off. Okay. So let me first say about this war. Even though it seems to be not so important, it seems to be that this big war, people are wearing these camouflage bags and everything. It becomes even popular to have that kind of war. Most computer games is some kind of war of tanks or something else. Star Wars movies, it's everywhere. Action movies people love to watch. So the world is very aggressive. And the Lord said that the big wars are coming, and you will hear about wars and rumors of wars, but don't be afraid, because that's not the end. Okay. And I will say a little bit about these wars that are going on now, especially this Russia-Ukraine war, which is why the whole world is suffering now also. But of course Russia and Ukraine suffer the most. Before going into that, let me say about the most important war. It's the spiritual war. And it's very important to distinguish, because some people, they say that this war is a holy war. Okay, and both sides say, Russia says we have war against the West and all these sodomites and all these anti-Christian values, so we are fighting with the devil, with Satan. And then Ukraine also says, no, the Satan is Putin, and we need to fight with that. We need to fight for democracy. We don't want slavery, and we want human rights. So we are with God, and everybody supports us because we have the right cause. So they also perceive it in a spiritual sense, and both are wrong, big time. Okay, but that's another issue, and let me put it for the second part of my video today. First of all, I want to say that the spiritual war is the war against evil, against evil inside us, outside, demons. The Apostle Paul says these powers of darkness, and not against flesh and blood, but against those powers of darkness. And this war has external expressions. What kind of manifestation? For example, heresies, schisms, apostasy of the church, this worldliness. It's when we lose in this war. On the individual level, it is all kinds of asceticism, spiritual life, prayer, fasting, deeds of mercy. All of this is the expression of spiritual warfare, following Christ on a daily basis, spiritual reading and education. All this Christian enlightenment, evangelization, mission is very good examples of spiritual war, because you go to some places or to some people who are sitting in darkness, who are possessed by wrong ideas and demons behind those ideas, practices, and you break that, and you fight with that, and you with the Lord's help, you liberate people from all those bondages. So that's a good example of the warfare, the spiritual warfare. Any kind of Christian virtue and any kind of ministry in the church. When you minister to people, you minister to the Lord, pastoral ministry, church, helping in the church, sponsorship, all kinds of blessed ministry. Okay? Of course, there are different and false, fake ministries, and sometimes even a good ministry can be done from bad intentions of vainglory, proudness, career, and many other things. So if we don't have all those bad intentions, and it's a blessed, righteous, and virtuous ministry, this is spiritual warfare, and it's expressed in this material world. You can see the work being done. Of course, some of the spiritual warfare you won't see ever. Okay, this is when there is the fight with sin, there is this fight with evil, with seduction, with passions, with old self. Okay, many things that are going on in that realm you cannot see. You cannot see with carnal eyes. It is happening in the hearts, in the minds of Christians. So this is spiritual warfare. Having said that, and we cannot run away from this warfare. The Lord will punish everyone who is hiding, who is don't have the courage, don't have the vision of going and doing it. So the parable of the talents, he gave 5 talents to one, 2 to the other, 1 to another, and the first 2 they went and they earned more money. The last one he buried it in the ground, and he didn't waste it, he didn't put it into bad use, he just preserved, he saved this money. It's not so easy to save your money, but he saved this money of the master and he gave it back in full. But the Lord condemned him and sent him to the outer darkness, where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. That means that without bringing fruit, our faith will condemn us. We believe in Christ, but we don't do anything. We have talents, we have education, we have ability to talk to people, we have ability to learn to read the gospel, we have time, we have connections to do something for the benefit of the church or for some other ministry. We don't do it. We say, no, we just we are weak, we are we just want to have simple life, our own little world. Then we are not Christians. If we choose this kind of life, if we don't do anything for the Lord, this is nothing. Our life is nothing. We will be condemned big time, more than pagans, more than Satanists. So let us think deeply. Let us not have this fake humility, humbleness. This is fake. It's not real humbleness. So Christian, he's a warrior of Christ, and a warrior must go to war. Having said this, I want to say about this war with the guns and rockets and all that stuff, missiles. We always need to remember the words of the Lord, that whoever raised the sword, he will die from the sword. And in the Old Testament, we also see whoever spills others' blood, his own blood will be spilled, because man is created in the image of God, and the meek ones will inherit the earth. So we need to remember these words. So on a personal level, I would not bless a Christian to go to war, especially now. What's special now? Okay, because you will say, well, sometimes the country is in the war and everybody is mobilized, and this is your duty to go to war to fight. You have no choice, otherwise you break the law. You avoid the conscription, you break the law. And also you betray all your people in your country, your family, because other country will come and kill you and enslave and burn your house, etc. Well, in the past, like 200 years ago or more, we have a very clear situation. We have the government of some country has the same interest as the whole country, because the government owns the country, monarch, owns this country, and the people have the same interest. They want to protect their country, they want to be safe from invasion and stuff, they want to prosper, etc. It was more simple, but from the time of empires, when some countries became empires, they had imperialistic wars to expand their colonies, to earn more, to have more power. And we have this imperialistic war, the First World War, in which most of the people, they would not know what are they fighting for. Of course, they were telling them nationalism, it's great France, you want to fight for France, for Germany, for Russia. But people were feeling that it's not that simple, that they're fighting for something else, some other interests. And from those days, until now, it got even more complicated. And very often the government has completely different motivations and goals for waging a war. And it's not what it says in the newspapers, in the TV, that becomes propaganda. And no matter which side you support in the Russian war, it's Russian or it's Western, it's both propaganda. Both goals which are set there, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's the real goals are different. Similar would work for anything, for China, for United States, for the idea of a country, of a nation, is different now. Usually those groups which have power, they're not associated directly to some country. So it became very complicated. We have global corporations, we have the financial capital, which is international. We have many things now, which work behind the scenes, and nobody will tell you what are the real goals of the war. So if you don't know the real goal of why we have to fight, going and fighting is a sin. It is a sin. Because maybe this war is for the sake of Antichrist. How do you know? If you don't understand the motivation and the goal of this war, and you go and you fight and you die for Antichrist, for his purpose. So I would even more advise you to keep away as much as possible from those conflicts. And I cannot, of course, call everybody not to disobey the government, to break the law, to avoid the conscription, because that would be illegal. Okay, and I might even go to jail for such pacifism. But on individual level, this is what I advise. To those who are listening to me now, I would advise you to think twice before participating in any kind of war. Okay. Especially if it's not evident that somebody is invading your house and burning your property, enslaving, killing your family. If you don't see that, I would think twice. I would think twice before, even if you see that, maybe prayer is something much more powerful than taking a machine gun and going there. Okay, so this is one thing. Another thing is information wars, which are also which is very big now, and even priests now, so brainwashed, they participate in either side. They support either Russia and all this stuff, or they support Ukraine and all that stuff. And they don't understand, by supporting one of the sides, what you're saying is more blood, more fighting, more missiles. Okay, this is what you're doing. So it's just a part of the big war with the guns and weapons and missiles. So I would advise not to take any part in any kind of war like that, be it information, be it the hot war, be it any kind of war other than spiritual war. Okay, many people who, for example, support a revolution in Russia, they were fighting for revolution, but the real goals of the Bolsheviks were different. So all those who were fighting for the revolution, eventually they succeeded, they had the revolution, but all of them were killed by the Bolsheviks. And then one Bolsheviks killed other Bolsheviks, okay, and so on. So the real goal of most wars would be political war. That's another, okay, would be different from what it seems to be. So we keep away as much as possible from anything like that. Even when we talk to people, okay, we should be very conservative and stay away from all of those things. This is my understanding, and we should not put much more emphasis to those things. This is actually just noise. Okay, this is noise. All those news that they have. This is so much garbage, which is distracting us from the most important, which is the spiritual warfare that we don't do enough. So let us focus on that. Let us work on our spiritual life, and this will be the real achievement in bringing the message of Christ, in doing witness, testimony to His words, to His resurrection, to His truth, to all the people around us. And you will be surprised how many people just next to you were willing to hear. They were really looking for something about Christ, but they never knew that it's next door, that you can tell them about it, that you can share with them faith. May the Lord help us, give us guidance in our ministry, and keep us away from any mistake, any delusion. I mean, may the Lord be with you.